John Danaher, legendary BJJ trainer, most famous jiu-jitsu trainer in the world, openly disagrees with what I said. And he said, I think it was on the Joe Rogan Experience, that a chimpanzee would maul any fighter, even Gordon Ryan, 10 out of 10 times. And I believe him that he said that. And I believe him that he believes that honestly. But what I also must assume is that John Danaher, he has a huge, incredible understanding of jiu-jitsu. He's rightfully a high-level, higher degree BJJ black belt who has produced some of the finest grapplers in the whole world and trained some of the highest level UFC champions ever. So his understanding of grappling is unmatched. I wouldn't say unmatched. There's people with a similar understanding of grappling, but it's of the highest level that is currently available. But his understanding of chimpanzee fighting is not up to par. I believe that John Danaher has just heard a couple things about chimpanzee fighting and now bases his understanding on the misinformation that has shared with him. There's a very common myth about chimpanzee strength that goes like this, that a chimpanzee is 7 times stronger than a man. And if that was true, then yes, a chimpanzee would maul us. And if it was true that chimpanzee would attack in that manner, that as we see in movies, and have that strength, then yes, of course. But that's not the reality. In reality, chimp strength is vastly exaggerated. So new studies have shown that a chimp is about 1.5 times stronger per kilogram. So a chimp is about 50 kilogram, a heavy chimp is about 70 kilogram. So he's 1.5 times stronger than a 50 kilogram man. Or a 70 kilogram chimp is 1.5 times stronger than a 70 kilogram untrained man. And a 70 kilogram fighter is easily 1.5 times stronger than a 70 kilogram untrained man. So he's likely physically stronger than a chimp, right? We also see, if you watch a chimp climbing, and maybe many people confuse the strength of different primates. They think chimp, but they confuse the chimp with the gorilla. Then they think chimp, and then they confuse the movement of a chimpanzee with the movement of an orangutan or a gibbon. A gibbon moves incredibly light, and now if you confuse that 10 kilogram gibbon and the way he moves with a 50 kilogram chimpanzee, and now you think the 50 kilogram chimpanzee moved like a gibbon, then it would be believable that he has that strength. But a chimpanzee does not move as lightly as a gibbon. So if you see him hanging on one arm and how much strength he uses to pull him up, the speed he can produce when pulling himself up, then you see that it's within the realm of a human being. The strength of a chimpanzee doesn't surpass the realm of human beings. As you can see in the way they accelerate their bodies, right? So if you see a chimpanzee accelerate, it's not beyond the movement of a human. That way we see, okay, a chimpanzee is not stronger than a human. Now would that factor of that craziness, that wildness, that savagery of a chimpanzee, would that be enough? It wouldn't. It wouldn't. That savagery of a wild animal may only be scary to an untrained human. Because it's very much the same with untrained humans. Untrained humans, they can also go like that wild mode. They see red, wow, and that scares the untrained humans. But we as trained fighters, somebody seeing red is not a threat to me, not at all. He's just uncontrolled, but he's controllable. He has lost every control over his own movements. He has lost any recognition of the pattern in his own movement, but I still see the patterns. I still see the movement. As a former bouncer, even humans on the most obnoxious drugs in the world, they aren't very difficult to control. Not at all. Then you think, okay, but he will bite you. And I'm like, yeah, as a grappler, my limbs are very rarely somewhere within the realm of your teeth. Because even with a human, you know, I don't want to get bitten in a fight either. And I've been bitten and I have bitten in fights. But much of the control is nowhere like this, you know. It's under the chin. I want to control my opponent under the chin. And it's the same with a chimpanzee. He would need to have his teeth, his face, right somewhere on my body to be able to bite me. And that's nowhere his head will be. His head will not be somewhere in that realm. Then also we see a chimpanzee, he has fur. And fur is like the best gi ever. So I can very easily grab him. It's much easier to grab a chimpanzee than it is to grab a human, because a human is slippery. A chimpanzee isn't slippery. He has fur. He has a gi with him all the time, everywhere he goes. Then even I can form fists and I can punch and kick. You know, and if I punch and kick a chimpanzee, he will very much likely very early lose any interest in continuing that fight. If you've ever been punched or kicked so hard that you're shocked, you lose the will to fight. And I have seen footage of people successfully defending themselves against bears. So by punching and kicking, the bear lost the interest in fighting the human. He was like, oh man, I don't want any much more of that. Even successfully defended against brown bears. Yeah, so and that's just a chimp. We're talking about a 40, 50, 60, 70 kilogram chimpanzee with an IQ of like 30, fur all over his body, short legs, less strength. Man, he doesn't stand any chance, you know. I almost feel bad like dissing my bro like that, the chimp. And so it was just a lack of education on the side of John Danaher, being not enough educated about chimpanzee fighting.